Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us across the fence. I'm Fran Stoddard. Are you a recent transplant to Vermont who's feeling overwhelmed but determined to take control of the trees and flower beds in your yard? Or do you just want someone to tell you how to get rid of those brown spots on your rhododendrons without using harmful pesticides? Well, the UVM Extension Master Gardener program could have the answers you're looking for. Later, we'll learn how to get your most pressing garden questions answered. But first, we want to introduce you to a couple of graduates of the UVM Master Garden program who have made it their mission to educate young Vermonters about the most elementary aspects of what makes a garden grow. Keith Silva went to school in Bolton to dig into today's story.
He approaches the flower feels the vibration.
For first and second graders at the Smilie School in Bolton, knowing your ABCs and 1, 2, 3s is as elementary as knowing why pollinators are important and how to transplant plants.
When you transplant plants, you dig around it and then you pull it out. Every bite you take, at least a little bit, a pollinator worked hard on just a little bit of that.
I see that you're using blue, and I've got one more yellow.
Julia Parker Dickerson teaches first and second grade at Smilie Elementary School, and Virginia Haviland
It's part of the pollen process.
works as a paraeducator. Together, they bring their love of gardening to the school as Vermont Master Gardeners.
This is like the dream, yeah, to help people learn to grow things, to plant things, to eat them, to enjoy the environment and nature around us.
This is called bee balm.
It's a really nice fit, especially at a small school like this.
That would be perfect.
I love being a master gardener because I love talking about gardening.
More than a decade ago, the school's annual plant sale and a donated greenhouse were the inspiration for Haviland and Parker Dickerson to share their love of gardening with students and their families.
We have a kitchen garden, fruits and vegetables. So the kids start the seeds inside. We start some things we direct plant. Obviously we weed and water, and we get that garden all set before school ends.
Because the school year and the gardening season in Vermont don't quite line up, it's the community and the students' families who keep the garden going over the summer.
There's just an amazing community here who's willing to take care of these school grounds. And I think the parents do so much of this at home with the children too. So when they take their kids back here to play on the playground, they notice if something needs to be taken care of.
It's also a big sort of a traditional value, especially in Bolton, a small town that in the 30 years I've lived here has grown from like 800 to 1,200. And a lot of people grow food, and a lot of people have deep family roots here. Each family adopts the garden for a week, and they come and take care of it. And then the kids love to harvest the food in the fall and bring it into the cafeteria.
When school starts again in the fall, students harvest the food that they and their families have grown all summer. The school's food service staff set up a salad bar in the cafeteria for the gardeners' students to appreciate and enjoy the fruits of their labor.
It tastes better than store-bought because they're super fresh and I really like them. I don't really know how to explain the feeling. It just feels good to eat what we grow, and like all the time we've spent like watering. It's just fun to eat it after.
I'll move out of the way.
Got a lot of plants.
Parker Dickerson uses the garden as an extension of classroom curriculum.
Some things, reading and writing, we can teach. We have to teach in a variety of ways. But learning in the outdoor environment, you get a lot of sensory inputs. You get the opportunity to learn science and math in a way where it's applicable. But then to take it a step further, well, what does that mean? What does that mean outside of the context of this classroom? And I think that's where the garden and outdoor education generally really comes into play.
Sure. All right, last one. Where should we put it?
You know, there might not be as many opportunities as we hope written into a curriculum to talk about native plants. You know, that's not something we see everywhere. But we can make those connections, we can bridge that with some of the literacy we teach and to make it more meaningful.
The goal of the Vermont Master Gardener program is to teach the fundamentals of home gardening with a focus on plant and soil science. Master gardeners are expected to take what they've learned back to their communities and put that knowledge to work. For Parker Dickerson, this means making the garden a place to grow minds alongside fruits and vegetables.
And it fits so nicely into all of the curriculum. You can find a space for that in science, you can find it in math, you can talk about it in language arts, you can write a how-to book. This is how you grow carrots, this is how you grow tomatoes. And then you can discover all these nuances as you get to the older grade levels. So you can talk about it in a more scientific way. I just find it such a natural fit, and it's something that children really need. They need to do hands-on experiments. They need to see how things work. So you're actually seeing this theoretical concept that you may have read in a book or your mom may have told you or whatever. You're seeing it in action. You're seeing it for yourself. And I think that firsthand knowledge is really important for a child. There's a sense of pride, and then there's that sense of curiosity that just got kicked in right away. Like, I did that. That was me. I know how to grow plants. And you can hear them, you know, when they're in the garden.
Are we ready to fill in our ditch and tuck those roots in?
As for the students, they get that there's more than gardening going on.
We learn stuff, but it's not really like schoolwork. It just doesn't feel like it. And it's fun.
All right.
You're learning about and you're discovering different things about plants. Like, I didn't know that that plants had these things that go right off the stem that holds pollen. I didn't know that until we started this thing in science.
I like using the rake and shoveling and digging out all of the stuff from last year that we don't need anymore, all the weeds.
What's your favorite part of gardening?
I like getting sort of dirty and I don't know, I just like seeing the joy of all the things growing.
For these students and teachers, gardening is a way to feed the mind, body, and soul. Now that's something to smile about. In Bolton, I'm Keith Silva with Across the Fence.
What a great story. And joining me now over Zoom is Deb Haliba. She's the coordinator of the UVM Extension Master Gardener program. Thanks for being with us, Deb.
Thanks, Fran.
So tell us, what is the mission of the UVM Master Gardener program and how do people get involved?
Sure. So our mission is to provide sound, science-based gardening information to Vermonters. And how we do that is by training and supporting volunteers who provide education in their our local communities. So currently we have about 447 extension master gardeners throughout the state, and about 250 of our volunteers were able to volunteer last year despite the challenges associated with the pandemic.
Wow, that's wonderful. And you know, with summer here, I don't want to spend much time thinking about winter, but that's when the UVM Master Gardener program course is offered. So just give us a very brief overview of what that is.
Sure. Yes, it starts in January and the course runs for 16 weeks. We have a myriad of instructors, mostly university specialists, and we also have industry professionals who share their love of plants and science and of teaching our students. And so the course starts out with the basics of botany and soil science, insects and diseases, and then we dig right into vegetable gardening, fruits, native and pollinator plants, and much more Yeah, the
whole
whole garden.
And then, as you were saying, as with most programs connected with UVM Extension, service plays an important role in becoming a Master Gardener. So explain a little bit more about the volunteer commitment.
Sure. So we do have a volunteer track with our program. Others can take the course on their own pace without a volunteer commitment. But for those who do commit to provide service, they can become a certified Extension Master Gardener by completing 40 hours of volunteer service. They're considered an intern. They work over a period of 2 years to earn that 40 hours, and then they're a certified Extension Master Gardener.
Awesome. And so give us a few examples of volunteer opportunities that the participants can do.
Sure. So we have about 90 Extension Master Gardener and Master Composter education programs around the state. So folks might see our Extension Master Gardener volunteers answering questions at info tables, at fairs, farmers markets, or other events. You might see an article in your local newspaper written by an Extension Master Gardener. Our volunteers also create wonderful demonstration gardens, as you saw in the clip, as hands-on learning labs at our schools and libraries, town centers. So really a vast array of places where you'll see those demonstration gardens.
And people, and some projects are assigned and some are self-directed. So you have people looking for Master Gardeners to help out, and then or you can be self-directed, right?
Yeah. We work with our nonprofit partners who have requests for volunteer, and then our volunteers themselves can elect to take on a project in a local community.
Okay, so if you are not sure about putting your green thumb to the test and pursuing a Master Gardener certification, you can always call the helpline for answers to your toughest gardening conundrums. And the number is right there, 802-656-5421, or you can go to uvm.edu/extension/mastergardener/helpline. And you can also send your photos, right, to Master Gardener?
Right. So our phone lines are open on Thursday mornings from 9 to noon, and you saw that number. Or you can contact our online Ask Extension system anytime to submit your photos of, wonky pest or, whatever your question is. We're happy to answer your questions online as well.
Deb, it's a fabulous program. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And thank you for joining us across the fence. I'm Fran Stoddard. Stay well.